Well, Ulysses, we've heard it before and we'll probably hear it again. Randy to the rescue.
He is clutch, and I don't care how many stats you show me. It's true. He's clutch. Let's talk about it right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays, as well as all the other podcasting platforms. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Rays, and you can email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Well, the Tampa Bay Rays take down the Minnesota Twins last night by a score of 2-1, thanks to some good defense, some good pitching, and some heroics by somebody that is not unfamiliar with heroics in Randy Arozarena.
Dude, it's amazing how when the moment gets bright, he just shines, man. It's really cool. And like I said on the cold open, I know, analytics are trying to say, hey, clutch doesn't matter. The clutch factor is in your head, in your mind. Like, that's so wrong. It is. I'm sorry, because then if it was the same for everybody, then everybody would be the same. It's not like that. It's not like that. Some guys can just human being anatomy, like anatomy. You can just kind of calm yourself down in a certain situation, event, or whatever. If you can just kind of calm yourself down, that heartbeat can just kind of soothe yourself and just do your job. That's what Randy Arozarena can do. You have cold blood. Some guys don't have that. Randy definitely has that, man.
Randy has it. I think Wander has it. There's probably a couple other guys on this team that have it. And to your point that you can't measure stepping up in the big moment and the clutch factor and all that, might get into it a little bit more. But look at a guy like Austin Meadows, like what he's dealing with mental health and anxiety. Sometimes when the brights get light or you're in an unfamiliar terrain and environment, you falter. And that is certainly not the case with Randy Arozarena taking a 98 fastball down and away and depositing it the other way. What's funny about that whole situation is that I think after making contact, the closer the Twins pitcher Duran put up his finger as if it was going to be a routine fly ball for the right fielder. It's like, no, buddy, nobody's catching that. The only person or people that are catching that are people wearing Rays jerseys and jerseys and holding a beer at the same time.
Paying customers are grabbing that. Yeah,
Kepler's not getting that one. He might get to Wanders, but he's not getting that one.
By the way, great catch there by Kepler on the Wander.
Hit. Wander couldn't buy a hit. He was making contact, slapping the ball all over the field, and just could not get it worked out one way or the other.
No, he couldn't. But he went 1 for 4, so he got his.
I guess he extends that hitting streak, but he could have done a lot more. And
he could have been 3 for 4. He could have been 3 for 4 for sure.
Not to make this a Wander Franco bash episode, because it's certainly not that and probably will never be that. But being picked off at first in the third inning with runners at the corners and 1 out, and Randy Arozarena is up. Not quite a good look. I know Randy ended up chasing a slider away and way
trying to do too much.
That could have changed the complexion of the at bat.
It's 2 outs. I have to do something. I think that's what that swing was about. And I would right now, I'm so not angry about that pickoff, but you bet your bottom bleeping dollar that if the Rays had not come back, that's exactly what we would all be highlighting. Like, that's not somewhere that you got to get caught. You can't get caught. But you know what? Silver lining, I loved his reaction. Wander's reaction. You know what his reaction was when he got picked up?
Tell me.
He got up real quick and jogged straight back to the dugout. No crying, no, no Neymar,
Yeah.
of baseball. No, like, check it, or yeah, are we sure we don't want to take a look at this? No, he's like, no, you picked me off. You got me. That's completely cool. Like, so I like that reaction by Wander. But yeah, going back to the W, man. So good to have a guy like Randy. And I know there will, we heard from Topkin as soon as basically the Rays were eliminated that, the Rays are calling around and seeing if anybody's interested in Randy. And then the whole fandom was like, it would be really smart to trade Randy. We always said that would be dumb.
Yeah.
That would be dumb. What he provides, he was basically the second best offensive producer in the lineup behind Yonny Diaz. So how could you take him away and then replace him with what? Luckily, the offense is doing very, very, very well, but he's also, again, one of the top producers. Again, so what he does, Kevin, I think goes beyond the whole, well, now you got to sell. You got to sell high. Well, his value is high. Like, people like Randy. He has Randy land. He has name recognition across the league. That doesn't come easily for players from Tampa Bay. It doesn't. Ask Brandon Lau. People still mispronounce his name. And the dude almost hit 40 home runs.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to get name recognition. Randy definitely has that. I think it would be a silly financial move and baseball move to think about trading him right now.
Yeah. And knock on wood, he posts. You can basically bounce on him to give you 145 to 150 games every year. There's not many players, especially in this era, that can do that. And not many guys on the Rays roster we've seen historically that can do that year in and year out. So that's certainly to be appreciated. And it's also on the Rays staff as well to manage his workload and saying, okay, you don't have to play every single day, or we're going to take you out of the defensive lineup and just have you DH for a game and see what you can do, and then get your legs back underneath you for the next day or for the next series, whatever it may be.
And, if the Rays are serious, if Rays fandom is serious about thinking that the next 2 to 3 years, the window's still open, which I certainly believe that it is, you have to have a guy like Randy Arozarena in your lineup to win.
Yeah.
Especially, and this is why I auto-triggered myself by thinking about these Rays fans who want to trade Randy. I auto-triggered myself.
Are people saying that now, or are you just hearkening back to last offseason?
They're saying it less. It less, but in posting boards that you can go online and see what people are thinking. That is like, oh, well, we got that mentality of like, well, we can't possibly afford him, and we got to save Stu Sternberg some money, so we got to get rid of Randy Arozarena. You have already seen what this man can do in 20 games in the playoffs. You have that. You have seen this. Why in the heck of the world would you think, you know what, I'd rather get some prospects
and he's 3 years older and more experienced and has a better understanding of playing in the big leagues? Nobody's ever going to replicate what he did in 2020, but
no,
we know that that's a guy that you can absolutely count on in a big moment or multiple big moments. Just harken back to the World Baseball Classic as well.
Yep.
And his energy, it all feeds off what he does. It feeds off to Siri and Wander and vice versa. The whole team gets a chuckle out of it. I mean, it's again, I think there is something special about this clubhouse this year, maybe more so than in past years. But we have more to discuss. But Ulises, we have to tell the audience about something extremely, extremely important.
Yes, we do. Sometimes you might look at yourself and say, hey, something's missing, man. Something is missing. I don't know what it is, but something's missing. And you know what that is that you're not wearing your bird dogs. Your bird dogs are missing. And you know why they're missing? Well, because you have them in your closet, or you haven't ordered them online, and you have to do that right now. Why? Because bird dogs make you look good. Okay, that stretchy fabric, it basically does wonders for how your thighs and legs are going to look. You're going to look slimmer through the thigh, and then it gives you a sculpted look. I mean, and you make yourself just feel like you're on point. And they fit way better than regular shorts because those are made with a stiff, restricting cotton. Bird Dogs fixed that issue by inventing clout knit fabric that looks just like khaki but stretches so you get a slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement. You can do yoga, you can go to the golf course, you can go to a meeting, you can hang out with friends, and it's so versatile. You will love it. And besides, it has an anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that will keep you cool and dry all day long. And guess what? That's amazing because we live in Tampa. All right. So that's exactly what you need for this summer. So today, go to birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB and enter promo code LockedOnMLB for a free Yeti style tumbler with your order. That's right. You get that plus the Bird Dogs that you order. So go to birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB for a free Yeti style tumbler using promo code LockedOnMLB. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you.
We spotted the light on Randy Arozarena, but I also think Isaac Paredes needs some love for what he did in this game, among others, getting that home run back at, the double play, starting that off. I don't know if Yonny Diaz makes that play, but that was big, but also getting the action started in the second inning with the home run on a flat 94-mile-per-hour fastball. Isaac Paredes continuing to show himself as a stable part of this unit, and I don't know what it is, maybe just because there's other flashy players that he sort of gets overlooked to some extent, but man, he is a solid part of this team. And the more and more I think about it, the more and more I realize that was a really shrewd trade that the Rays made a couple of years ago. And I didn't think it at the time, but giving up Austin Meadows for Paredes and a compensation B pick. And what has Austin Meadows done in his time with the Tigers? He's played 42 games in 2 years with like a 600 OPS. He's had to step away multiple times because of those mental health and anxiety issues. I don't know if that is something that the Rays saw inklings of writing on the wall, something that they had dealt with and experienced and thought there's going to be a point where it's all going to come apart and break down for him. So maybe it's best to put our chips in and get what we can. Regardless, I would think that there had to be some sort of noticeability with what Austin Meadows has in his history or what he goes through. But regardless, great to have Isaac Paredes on this team. 9 home runs, 38 RBIs already. He's key, man.
He really is. He really is. And I think we saw what could be last year with his production. I mean, again, he co-led the team in home runs. And
we don't talk about that enough. It's kind of shocking, quite frankly.
Yeah. So 20. So what? That was his 8th, correct, or 9th? I forget.
That was his 9th. So 9th. I mean, he's more or less on pace to bring 20 home runs, and he's a guy that I could see, whether he's with the Rays long term or not, but continuously, like for the next 6 to 8 years, putting together 18 to 22 homer seasons and being like, wow, he did really solid. He was a really good number 5, number 6 hitter for a franchise. And
this is the thing that I think in this era of OPS and home runs and exit velos, it's like everybody's expecting every player that you have on the lineup to have like 900 OPS, and if they do a 750, you're like, oh, this guy sucks. It's like, no, you're gonna need a lineup is going to have to be made up of 750 OPS guys. Like you have to have, like, there's no way, unless you're like the 2019 Astros. That was a stupid lineup, or something like that. It's very, very difficult for you to do that. I was looking at that 09 Yankee lineup. Like, no wonder they won. Damn. Yeah. Those are ridiculous lineup too. So you're going to have guys like that. And he's stepping up, man. He's not a 750 OPS guy. I mean, I think his OPS right now is at 830 last time I looked. I could be off, though, if you can check me on that. But I'm impressed about the home run. Again, he pulls it because that's what he
pulls everything. I mean, if I don't know if the shift rules would allow it, but I would take the third baseman, the second baseman, the shortstop, and the first baseman to the left side of the infield, have the pitcher cover first, and do that. Take the center fielder and the right fielder and take him to left. Just put everybody on the left side
And
go
and
from
he
there.
has been pulling less than last year, at least from the eye test. He has been, at least for singles, but the power is definitely he's a
Yeah.
Jose Bautista kind of guy.
Well, he hits the ball so hard, I think he can get away with it. And he was like inches, maybe a foot or two away from having a double down the line in that game as well.
Yeah, no. So I do want to give him props for the bat, but man, let's highlight that double play. That double play was nasty. I mean, from his butt, he throws as good a throw as you're going to do in that situation. And then Taylor Walls, who we know is a magician, pulls it away from his body and then turns around, throws a missile. I don't know how he did that, but he did. And then Luke Raley, who I don't think has been given enough of a spotlight defensively. He came through. He stretched. He picked that up. I mean, just a glorious double play to kind of save Adams' butt there.
Yeah.
He got himself into trouble from the bullpen. He was the only guy that faltered. Really, I mean, everybody else, I think, did their job well. Armstrong, Criswell, Kelly, right?
Yeah, no, Armstrong, he put Jose Siri to work a little bit and then showed that he could field on his own. Kevin Kelly, I think there's a lot of potential with that sinker, that two-seamer. That's a fun pitch to watch with the angle and his style. Jason Adam, he should be buying all three of those guys steak and lobster. Get him a little treat or two for saving his butt. And there's been times where, the defense has had to bail out the pitching staff or a particular pitcher at a certain point in time. I go back to, several days ago where Jose Siri made that amazing play coming in from center field. So, that was huge. And, with I don't know if Isaac Paredes is ever going to be a Gold Glove or anything like that, but he's a solid mainstay at third base, and that's all you can ask for. And that's really all you need when you have guys that are so capable, like Taylor Walls and Wander Franco up the middle. You can fill in the gaps. Not everybody on the roster has to be Gold Glove caliber, but that was
smooth hands.
Yeah, just
smooth hands, man.
Yeah, really, really smooth. And and again, a play like that, that's a high pressure moment where I let this go by and the game's over.
Yeah, basically. I mean, you got to turn to head after because you're at home, but like the lead is gone, and now you have to put up a crooked number to win.
Yeah, so
maybe to tie. Because
right,
how fast are the runners there that the guy from second or it could have gotten really ugly, man.
Yeah, no. So again, kudos to the trio there, Randy, the bullpenning, so many others as well. Now getting to the bad news a little bit, putting a little damper on this episode.
Sure.
Injuries after injuries after injuries. The injury bug is catching up. I just got bit. I think everybody's getting bit. If you're a Rays fan, Calvin Faucher, Josh Fleming, more bad news for Brandon Lau. I guess it's what is it?
It's a
back disc herniation where he will be able to do no activities while trying to get his back to calm down. That's going to be for 2 to 3 weeks, my understanding. So don't get your hopes up about Brandon Lau being a significant contributor on this team the rest of the season. The Rays better have a plan B and plan C for second base, because he's certainly not hitting 39 home runs this year. I don't even know if he gets to 15, but he missed 97 games last year with a back issue. Here's another back issue thing happening. So I could see this be lingering basically for the rest of the season.
I will tell you this. I am no MLB player. I do not have the physicality of one, but I did have a herniated disc, and it sucks. It's awful.
It incapacitates you.
You cannot do anything. So the fact that he has a herniated disc and he was playing ball,
maybe that's why he had some of those dropsies. He just,
right now
can't hit.
Well, and again, and this is the issue though. Like, my man, how long have you been dealing with this and not telling anybody? Come on. And I know that you want to be out there, you want to be playing, and you want to be there for your team. But like at a certain point, like, and I guess that the point came to a halt, right? Like he just said, "Hey,
right,
look,
right,
I gotta get this." So I'm wishing him the best. But for Rays fandom that has never experienced a herniated disc, that's serious, man. Like that works, and you need to do so much physical therapy, and you need to do a lot of core work to get your back in order. So it's not like really you need to work on your back. You need to basically make the muscles around your back strong. That's what you need to do. So a lot of core work is in his
and that's
future.
just being able to do normal everyday
Just to do
activities
things.
like
Yeah.
the laundry and dishwasher and walking the dog. Like, we're not even talking about swinging a bat and making extremely athletic movements.
No, you're not even. I'm talking about like getting in the car and not hurt. Like that's like stepping into the car, stepping out of the car. So like that's where he is right now. Again, he's an MLB player. He's got the physicality. He's got the trainers. He's going to be quicker than a regular Joe Schmoes with a microphone on their face. Like, I get that. I'm just saying with you, I'm not expecting a lot right now from what Brendan Lau can provide.
Because it's not like, oh, he'll be back to his normal self in a month, because just getting back to living your everyday life, and then you have to get back into the rep and rotation and getting adjusted to the rehab like him being able to hit a big league fastball or breaking ball or off speed is going to be near impossible for the next couple months, I would think.
It's already been difficult for him at top shape to hit breaking balls and off speed, if you look at his numbers. But look, I feel like it would be a lot of pressure to put as a fandom to think, oh, he's going to be back and he's going to be awesome. Like, that's not fair. So if you're one of those fans that expects that, that's not cool, man. I just hope that he can rehab in time and feel better. But do not expect this guy to be
the savior.
No. Now you have to kind of think like Drew Rasmussen. At least that's what I'm doing with Brendan Lau.
Yeah.
If he comes back, awesome, gravy, cherry on top. But I'm not putting him in my plans.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would think, like, I'm just ballparking it. Again, I don't have all the timelines in front of me, but I would say if you get, 25 to 30 solid games from Brandon Lau, it's like you should be circling that and appreciating that, because I'm not very confident at this point.
Say 3 weeks without baseball activities, right? 3 weeks without baseball activities.
That's my understanding. Yeah.
So then that's all of June. So June's gone. So then you have to give himself at least 2 weeks of like getting back in shape, right? So now we're talking mid-July, which already that's the All-Star break. So the earliest would be post All-Star break, the first week, the earliest. So that's not going to happen. That's probably going to be like first week of August.
Yeah,
because the Rays, do take a little bit more cautious, a more cautious approach usually. So that's how I would earmark it, is beginning of August.
Hopefully, we can have more confidence in guys like Luis Patiño and Yonny Chirinos. They'll be in action.
They will be. Yeah. How do you feel? What's your confidence level on Luis Patiño?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because, I mean, he struggled in AAA this year. He struggled in basically all his big league action we've seen of late. I know that the Rays have tried to shorten him up, get him to increase his velocity. He's tried to add a two-seamer to the fold. Again, I want to see what he can do just facing a couple batters and seeing if he can build up his confidence and be impactful in that way. I have no ideation of him. Look, this is not 2020 Kevin speaking, where, I fast forward 2-3 years and I say, man, our rotation is going to be awesome. We're going to have Brendan McKay. We're going to have Luis Patiño. We're going to have Joe Ryan. None of that. No, I just want him. And really, it is what it is. I mean, the Rays don't have a ton of other options that they can go to the well for. It's like, a manager at Panera Bread. Everybody's calling in sick. So you got to, bring in a high schooler or something like that to work the night shift. It's just, it's the situation that it is right now. I would just hope that, Patiño can thrive in a very short, limited role and see what he can do from there. I mean, I'm more, as much as we talk about how much the bullpen has struggled, I mean, pretty much everybody else on that bullpen roster right now, I probably have more confidence in than Patiño at the moment. But
is he a right-handed Beaks, as in like he's going to face 6-7 batters, or are you seeing him more as a one-inning guy?
I would see him more as a one-inning guy to start, but the Rays may not have that luxury with everybody going down. It might just be a case of, hey, whether you're, giving up 2-3 consecutive homers, we still need you to get these 6 outs.
Right.
So I'll be really curious to see, if whether he's good or bad, how the Rays continue to infill with the roster. Are they going to go out and get another Stevenson sort of a deal? So
I hope to see him in low leverage situations for Patiño first, honestly. Like give him a game that's like 5-0, give him a game that's kind of like wide open enough that if he gets into trouble, you can get somebody to warm up and then take him out. Like that kind of lead. Low leverage. That's exactly what I need to see from Luis Patiño right now. I'm happy Yonny Chirinos is getting the call back. Hopefully he'll get the start today. We're recording early, so we don't have the confirmation yet, but he should be getting the call up to start that game against the Twins, which will be at 1 p.m. And if you want to catch all of this local broadcast, you can do it in the SXM app. The Rays are going to finish their series against the Minnesota Twins at 1 p.m.
Yeah. So for Luis Patiño, you want him to take on the Trevor Richards, Austin Pruitt role of, hey, 5-6 run turnaround one way or the other. We're either up by 5 or 6, we're down by 5 or 6. All right, Patiño, here's your shot to show us what you got.
100%. Like right now, I don't trust Patiño, and I don't think anybody that has seen his numbers in MLB or in the minors this year should say, no, I'm going to give him the ball with the game 1-0 in the 8th inning. No, that's silly. So working in low leverage, and then hopefully he can get to that point, right? That's exactly what we want. We want to see if this guy can have the stuff to get to high leverage, but just start him a real low leverage.
Yeah. So he's made 16 appearances in AAA Durham this season, including 6 starts with a 7.64 ERA in that span. He last appeared in the big leagues last season, making 6 starts for the Rays, posting an 8.10 ERA. So not good from that perspective, but it is what it is. You can't trade for Joe Kelly at the moment, unfortunately. I guess you could, but it probably cost you an arm and a leg. So, and the Rays are in a spot where they can afford to do this.
Again, their record is 45-19. So yeah, you can definitely have a lot more leeway than a team that's like 3 games out of a wild card or half a game in at the wild card spot. So no, again, good things for Yonny. Hopefully, good things for Luis. Hopefully Calvin Faucher and Josh Fleming. I think they both have inflammation, right? Calvin Faucher, I think it's a tricep inflammation on the right arm, and then what inflammation as well for Fleming, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah, it's inflammation all around. Pete Fairbanks says hip inflammation. It's just I would say just give him some ibuprofen and go out there and deal with it. But I'm not a doctor or a trainer by any means. But hey, it could be worse. You could be the Rangers and have Jacob deGrom go on the shelf. So the Rays aren't dealing with a situation like that. So
hopefully not.
I guess we already kind of dealt with that with the Jeffrey Springs and the Rasmussen and Tyler Glass now from a couple of years ago. I mean, but you get my point. So all right. Hopefully the Rays get the dub against the Minnesota Twins. We'll see what happens. And for Friday, we'll have a mailbag episode and baseball trivia and Name That War. So stay tuned for that. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.